Hi, this is Dustine from Two Lucky Cats. I'm going to show you how to make a pamphlet book. Now I'm going to be using the paper that I decorated. It's a piece of watercolor paper, and I decorated it using the resist method, and I've done another project video with it. You can go to our website and download that if you haven't seen it, and make the cover for the book. This is watercolor paper. It's 9 by 12, and you can decorate both the front and the back. And this side here I'll probably use for the inside of the book, and this will be the outside. Because we're making a pamphlet book, and because of the nature of the project, it's not going to be that big. Here, the one that I made is 5 inches across and 7.5 inches down, which means you'll have to make your paper, since we're folding it in half, 10 inches across and 7.5 inches down. So you need to cut your paper to size. Once you've done that, we're ready to do the next step. Now, you have your decorated watercolor paper that we're going to be using for the cover of the book. And this is a piece of paper that I've decorated using the resist method that I did with crayons and watercolor. And as you can see, if you want, you can shine the crayon part with a piece of tissue paper to make it show up shiny. And then I decorated the other side of the paper, and this will be the inside of the book. Now, the pamphlet book that we'll be making is, let me show you, is 5 by 7.5, but because it has two sides, you have to cut your cover 10 inches by 7.5 inches. And of course, you can use a ruler to do that, or you can use a paper cutter if you have one. Once you've cut your paper, you need to fold it in half, and to get a real sharp fold in the middle of your book, you need to use something that's called a bone folder. And this helps you get a real sharp edge on the page, and you just fold your two pages, and then you run the bone folder along the fold there. And this is really helpful if you have thick paper that you need to get a good sharp fold on. If you don't have a bone folder, they cost anywhere from $6 to $8. If you don't want to buy one of those, you might try using the end of a spoon or a butter knife that doesn't have any serrated edges to leave a mark on your paper. After you have the cover, then you need to cut paper for the leaves of your book. And you need a lighter weight paper. Here I used paper from a sketch tablet, or you can use all-purpose paper. And again, you need to fold it. I cut the paper a little bit smaller than the cover because it's layering up and it causes some thickness here. If you don't do that, the pages can come out beyond your cover. So you want to cut those pages a little bit shorter, maybe 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch on each side. And again, you want to use your bone folder to crease it and put the fold down the center of your paper. And then layer it on top of the cover page. Then you want to use paper clips and put them on each side to hold the paper securely while you're putting the holes in the center of the book. Now, to make your holes, you can use something called a paper awl, or something that has like a sharp point in the end like this. And this particular tool, I think it's some kind of a sculpting tool I got somewhere. So what I did was, I just used a ruler, and this is 7.5 inch, so I put this hole right about in the middle, just a little bit more than 3.5 inches, and then I just measured 1 inch from the end on both sides, and I put the holes there, and I just put it down and made the holes through. And then you should have some kind of a mat underneath. You don't want to make holes in your furniture. Then on the other side here, we're going to go through, and there we go, put the hole through. Now you're ready for the last step, and that is to bind the book. You can use different ribbons or cords. Here in some of the books, pamphlet books I'm making, I'm going to use some silk thread that silk ribbon that I hand dyed. And for this book, it's just string that I hand dyed. You can use various threads. and different types of ribbon, but you don't want it to be too stiff because these holes aren't very big and it's going to be hard for you to get ribbon through if it's very stiff ribbon like grosgrain. Now it depends on whether or not you want to tie your cord or your ribbon on the outside or you want to have it here on the inside, whether or not you start on the outside or from the inside. This particular one, if you wanted to tie on the outside, then you start in the middle here from the back. And also, let me just add that if you're using something like a string, you need to have a needle that has an eye that's big enough for this to fit through. If you're using silk ribbon, you can use a needle that's a little bit smaller than this, because this is going to make a big hole here. Also, it'll help make a hole big enough for the string to go through. And this is a size 13 tapestry needle that I got for some project or another. So I have to pull it through the center. Now with this particular book, I decided I want to leave the strings long enough so I can actually tie it. And I'm going to make it probably just a little bit longer than I'm probably going to need because I can always cut it, but if it's too short, then you have to take it apart and start all over again. Now, once you get it through here, you just go to one of the ends, and again, you put it through that hole, and work it through. Now you want to go down to the other end and go through here where you made your hole. Let's see, and make sure I can get this up. Just press it down and pull it through. Make sure you have it tight. And then you just go back through the same hole where you started. Oops. Let me take this out of this. Cut a little piece of the thread. And pull it up through again. Now we're going to pull this tight. Let me take this out, put it in here, and I'm going to tie it into a knot. Okay, as you can see. And now, let's see how this is going to look. We can just have it long enough that we can tie it here. I guess we can tie it in a bow. And this will keep the book together. And we can probably cut these off. If you want to, you can see about putting beads on it. You can just do like I did. I made a couple knots and then I fringed it on the end. So let's just cut some of these strings off a little bit. And we can take the of course, you don't have to do that. If you want to make one that's shorter, oops, if you want to make one that's shorter, you just cut it off shorter and knot it if you don't want to have it tied around the edges. So let me take the paper clips off. There we go. So there's your book. I hope you enjoyed making a pamphlet book. There's many different things you could do with it. You could use it as a journal, or you can make some sketches. If you go on vacation, you can write your thoughts and take some pictures and then give them away to your friends and share with them, you know, how much fun you had when you were away. You can even use them to make invitations if you're having some kind of a special party. So if you enjoyed doing this project, come to our website. We have a lot of other projects for you to do and a lot more on the way at twoluckycats.com.